I'm 21 years old at this point. You know what I mean? I feel like wherever you're at in your life, you have to be honest with yourself. Hey y'all, welcome to another YouTube video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day with whatever it is that you're doing. Thank you guys for watching and supporting and subscribing. I really love it every single time. I always want to start off the video saying thank you because you don't know how much it means to me for y'all to be supporting. Even though it's a little bit of support, we grow over time because everything, you know, takes patience. But anyways, today's video is going to be a very emotional video. I honestly probably won't cry because this story has been told. I've told this story plenty of times over and over and over again. So, but this is going to be a coming out story. So, of course, every person that is fluent in the same sex or being attracted to the same sex talks about these type of things. Of course, this isn't something that I am very open with. Like, I don't really like talk about this stuff like a lot. Like, it's not like a testimonial type of thing. But it is something that I talk about because I went through a lot. So let's get into the video. So here we go. This story kind of goes all the way back to about when I was probably in like 9th or 10th grade in high school. And this girl I used to be friends with a really, really long time ago. One day I was at school and I think we were at lunch or something, and I remember I had a really bad day. I know that day was really, really bad. And I ended up telling her like towards the end of the day about me liking somebody that I played with, because I played basketball. And so the person that I played, the whole team I played with, but there was a specific individual that I had liked at the time. So once the school day was kind of over, this is kind of like the real starting of the story. So I went home and I was talking to my dad about it. Well, I was crying actually. I was in my room and I had a really bad day. My dad came in my room and I was just crying and crying and crying and crying. And you know, he was like, "What's wrong? What happened? Blah, 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 whatever." So I told him basically that I had a bad day at school. Okay, so that was the first thing. I just kind of let it linger, like, I just had a bad day, I failed a test or whatever, blah, blah, lying, right? So I think my dad walked out of my room, got food or whatever he did, and he came back and I was still kind of sad, right? So then we had like a whole like hour conversation, and I finally just like broke it to him like, well, you know, every person, they kind of say they're bisexual at first, and then they say that they're, you know, strictly gay or whatever they are. So basically, I ended up saying that. Then it went to the conversation of, "Oh, have you told your mother?" Right? So we're having like this conversation in my room about, you know, why are you saying this about yourself? Why do you know, say that you feel this way? And both of my parents, they never were like hateful about it. They were never like so judgmental about it. They were just kind of like, okay, we don't really agree with this whole thing. And anybody that's in the black community, any man or woman that is in the black community, you know, the church comes behind that. And I have no problem with that. I'm a believer in Christ. I am not going to sit around and neglect my faith or anything. But there are people who, you know, some people, not my parents, but there are some people who are in the black community or just in black families who are like, you know, that person's going to hell because of that. My parents never did that. My family has never. Well, maybe some other people who don't really know, but most people, it wasn't one of those things that was like, oh my gosh, you know, they were condemning me. It has never been like that. I haven't experienced really that. Besides, I mean, I've experienced that with people outside of my family, but not within my original, you know, family. So once I had told my dad about that, and we explained that whole little story, and we talked about all of that, next thing you know, he asked if I told my mother. So this is probably around like maybe like Christmas time of that year, and I said, no, I haven't told my mom. I haven't told her at all. I plan on telling her, but I haven't told her yet, right? So I think a couple of weeks went by, Christmas break. Now this is like Christmas break area, right? I'm at my mom's house one day, right? And my brother was younger. Well, he's still younger than me, obviously, but my brother is 16 right now. At the time, I think he was maybe like 7 or 8, 9, 10, 11. He was 12, somewhere around there. And so basically when my mom had went over, because my parents are split. My parents don't live together, they're split. So they were split for a long time. I was going back and forth for a very long time. When I was in high school, like kind of week to week, so I would transition kind of like every Friday. And so when my mom went over to my dad's house to go see my brother's stuff, and I'm not there, so I don't know what's going on. I'm at my mom's house upstairs watching TV in my room, and then before you know it, my mom comes back home, right? And she's sitting on the stairs, you know, kind of like just like sitting on stairs, and her legs are kind of up like this, and she's just kind of like sitting on the stairs, kind of, you know, kind of like this, like almost like, I don't know how to describe it, but she was like kind of sitting with her legs up basically on the stairs. And so she calls me and I come downstairs, right? And she's sitting there and she's like, you know, this is my mom saying, okay, well, you know, like, your dad told me this. What is this? You know, it was the whole bisexual thing. Your dad told me the bisexual thing. What does this mean? So I start breaking it down. You know, it means that, you know, when you're a person that likes boys and you like girls and all that other stuff, and you're kind of like confused, whatever. I guess that's what you want to call it, in denial or confused. And so as I'm explaining all of this to her, she kind of starts to like break down. She starts crying. She starts looking very sad, almost depressed looking. And I remember watching and looking at her the entire time, and in my mind I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you know, I'm really like hurting my mom. Like, you know, I didn't really think her reaction was gonna be like this tragic, you know, like this tragic response, you know. To me, I always kind of compare it to like, it almost seemed as if I said like I shot my brother, or, you know, I'm going to jail or something crazy, you know, or I'm going to prison for like, you know, 15 years. Like, it seemed like it was something that was, that the reaction seemed like it was like I did something so bad, you know, and that really hurt my heart, because it was like, to be able to come out and be honest to your mother and to kind of watch that reaction, it really hurt me as not only her son, but I think as a person, just to see that. So by the time she, you know, we were having this whole conversation, she gets up and eventually she goes into her room and she just goes to sleep, you know. I go in my room and I was kind of like tearing up and crying, and I was beating myself up a lot because I felt like a lot of things was my fault, with me coming, I guess, like clean. And so the following morning, I walked downstairs and I remember her saying like, oh, you know, that was kind of weird what you told me the other night, or last night or whatever. And I was like, yeah, and I just brushed it off. And so since that day, never brought it up again. And so some may say, you know, is that really a coming out story? And I would say it is, because I think for me, you know, I know it's kind of all over the place, but I tried to give the gist of what the story was about and how it kind of went down and how I kind of approached it. And, you know, the only thing I didn't like is the fact that my dad told my mom. And when I told him that I was going to take my time to tell her, that's the only thing I really didn't like. But I kind of I've forgiven him of that. I think for me, the biggest thing is that I've always been afraid of disappointing my parents. And I think sometimes especially when you're in, like I said, the black community, I think there's kind of, people look at, I think that black fathers and black mothers, they want to be able to see their kid, any parent wants to be, but mainly I think black men and black women and black men and black fathers and black mothers want to be able to see their sons have children. And they want to be able to see them with a woman. What I would say for me is that I don't know where I'm going to be in the future, but I'm going to be open, and I'm going to say that I'm attracted to men. It's taken me a long time to, especially in the family realm, to be able to talk about this. Because the school that I actually went to was a Christian private school. And although, you know, like my dad thought that was what was best for me, I still felt like at the same time, I don't think he understood emotionally, dust in my face, emotionally what it did to me, emotionally what people said to me, emotionally how people treated me. And it wasn't even because I said something about myself. It wasn't even the sexuality part. It was just the fact that I acted a certain way. I wasn't afraid to say what I wanted to say. I wasn't afraid to do certain things. I wasn't afraid to be myself. And because I was doing all those things, and because I was friends with people that, you know, people at the school that I went to were like, oh no, they're bad people. Because I wasn't afraid to do that, people looked at me like I was this crazy person. So to add on to kind of part of the story, of kind of the unraveling of all this coming out and people knowing, when I was in a relationship, I was previously in a relationship, and well, not previously, but like a year ago, I was in a relationship, and so we had made like a little channel, like a little YouTube channel, and someone that went to my school went to my administrator. And I think the administrator had called my dad, and then my dad called me, and blah, 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 whatever. We had that whole conversation. I was never mad at my dad, because I feel like as a father, you're looking out for your kid. I'm never going to be upset at him. It was weird, but it was like, I'm not going to be upset at him. But I think because emotionally, I have not been able to connect with my dad. I think that is why. I mean, my dad's very good at providing. I see my father. It's not like I don't see him. I see both of my parents all the time. They're with me my whole life. However, it's just that with my mom, she asks a lot of questions, and it's really like anxiety, and it's hard sometimes to like open up and be honest. And then at the same time for my dad, it's very, he's very good at providing, but emotionally it's like I can't really, it's kind of like, emotionally it's like a stone wall, it's kind of like I really can't, I feel like there's nothing really in there, it's kind of like empty, I don't think he can really relate. So I kind of got to a part where I felt like, okay, well, I'm not gonna lie to people, I'm gonna be honest with myself, and like I said, I'm a big believer in prayer. I'm a big believer in faith, and I'm a big believer in, being honest and being true, and I feel like, even in the Bible, you don't want to lie, you know what I mean? It's not good to lie. So I wanted to make sure that I'm being authentic and I'm telling the truth. And so, when it came to like, being making the videos with the person I was with, when that whole thing came about where, whoever told my old administrator at my high school, and then, all that, to me, it was like, none of them knew what I went through while I was at that school. People known me because I was very well known and I was very active, but no one knew personally what I was going through. And this isn't a jab at that school. It isn't a jab at any of those people, but it's one of those things where you have to be careful sometimes how you present something to someone. And what I mean by that is that there are kids nowadays that are 11 years old, that they get called gay, or they get called, feminine, or a woman, or I've heard people who like have told me that I'm not black because I don't sound black. You know what I mean? There are things that people do that you just have to be careful with what you say and with what you do. Because I personally feel like, listen, being a young black man or being a young black woman, anything that is that doesn't sit right with other people within your family, you're already nervous about talking about those things. And I can't tell you how much courage it has kind of took me to get up and speak about it, to even record this, period. Excuse me, to record this, because it isn't easy for me to do this, to talk about this. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of afraid to even post this because there are certain people who don't know. And so it's like, I'm 21 years old at this point, you know what I mean? I feel like wherever you're at in your life, you have to be honest with yourself. I always say, the Lord has never stopped blessing me because I have said something and I have been truthful about myself and about my life and about my sexuality and who I am as a black man. I don't believe that God hates you or God will punish you or God will hate you. No, I don't. Me personally, maybe I need to do some more spiritual growth, but I personally don't believe that. And this is what I'll say to, whoever watches this video, whoever sees this, even if it's like 15 views or 15 people or whatever, I hope this gets across because I want whoever watches this, especially if you're black and you're young and you're 13, you're 14, you're 15, you're 12, whatever you are, do not allow other people to tell you either what God thinks about you or what other people are going to think about you. It took me a very long time because I had a very high, what is it called? I had a status, at that school. And people, and so when that whole thing happened, when I had made a YouTube channel and all that other stuff, I was up here at school. I'm in college now. So it's like for you to be worried about what I'm doing when I'm out here on the president's list, on the dean's list, getting A's in all my courses, in all my college courses, when I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and the only thing, I don't smoke, I don't really drink as much, that much, I don't do any type of drugs, I don't do anything that's not uncomfortable, that makes me uncomfortable. So I still go to church, I still read my Bible, I still pray. I never changed. The only thing that I've never even changed as a person. The only thing that has changed is me choosing to be honest with what I'm doing instead of hiding my life, instead of being in the corner and doing that. That's the only thing that's changed, And so I just wanted to make this video. I just wanted to just make this because I want people to know that, listen, being gay and black is not an easy thing. And there are still some people in my family to this day that don't all know. And I don't feel like I gotta stand up with a flyer and I gotta stand up and do this and do that and do the third just for people to know. All I wanna do is be honest with myself. I wanna be honest with the Lord. And I want people to understand, especially people who went to school with me, this shit was not easy. This was not something that I could just get up and just do. And that's the problem that I had, is that you have to just be careful. Because thank God I don't have the tendency to kill myself. Thank God I don't have the tendency to do something crazy to myself, okay? But there are people who will do that stuff. And it's still hard for me. I haven't talked to my parents about this in years, okay? And I still haven't, but I want to be able to talk about this because this channel is about my life. And every person who watches this video, I want you to know, not only that I'm a 21-year-old young black man who still is kind of going through the ups and downs of talking to family about it and all of that stuff, but just to know that you have somebody here for you, And this video is not about bashing anybody. This video is just about me saying and being honest and talking about what it is that I need for people and what I want people to hear. You know what I mean? This is not for anybody else. This is purely for me. And I just feel like because there are people who have went to school with me, there are people who I've been friends with, and you just never know what somebody is going through. And I just encourage anybody who watches this video, especially if you're a black woman or a black man, a black mom, a black dad, a black son, a black daughter, nephew, cousin, whatever you are, especially if you're in the black community, love that child. Don't treat them differently. You don't have to agree with them on certain things. Don't tell them stuff that, oh, they going to hell and reading them this verse and that verse. My parents never did that. When I explained this to them, they never harassed me with a verse. They never harassed me with anything. They never did that. And that's why I really respect them for that situation. And it's still hard, you know. I don't know if I would really talk about it again to them. However, I'm just always going to be honest. And I feel like it's still hard to kind of be honest because it makes me nervous and it makes me scared, and I feel like I'm a disappointment sometimes with that situation. But I feel like, you know what? Keep striving, keep praying, and I just want to say you are loved. You are a very loved, beautiful black woman, beautiful black father, black man, black son, black daughter, black mother. Whatever you are watching this, you are beautiful, you are great. And even if it's not the coming out situation, maybe it's something else. I just wanted this to be serious because I feel like we as a black community are lacking that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like I told you, it wasn't gonna be super emotional. I told y'all it wasn't gonna be this whole emotional wreck because that's not the type of person that I really am. I don't always get super emotional, but it's definitely something that I feel like I had to talk about because this is serious, and I want people to understand that, you know, there are people that are really killing themselves out here today. There are people who really are killing themselves out here because they feel like they are not loved. There are families that are getting broken apart because they're talking about their honest truth. They're talking about what it is they're going through right now. I'm not saying by the time I'm 23, I'm still going to be going through the same thing. However, I'm going to talk about whether it's sexuality, whether it's beliefs, whether it's whatever it is. This is a channel about my life, and I want to continue to keep sharing things with you guys about my life. And I'm very, very excited to keep going, and I feel I have so many goals, excuse me, and I want to reach more and more people every single time because I want y'all to know that you're loved, okay? And just because you twerk, just because you may rap to the city girls, okay? Just because you a man and you like Trina, you like Nicki Minaj, that don't make you gay, okay? That don't make you any of that stuff, okay? Be yourself, be happy, and be around people who will love you, who will respect you, and who will not judge you, okay? And always make sure to be respectful to people, even the people who don't like you, even the people who don't get it. Be respectful to them because God will bless you for that. So don't even worry about what the naysayers and what everybody else has to say, because at the end of the day, if they really cared, you would know. So just let it go. Let it be. Be happy, be blessed. Again, y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have a great week. This will be posted sometime within this upcoming next couple of days. I don't even know why I'm putting this in this video, but thank y'all for watching. And all my social media and everything of the description of this channel will be down below. I hope you guys have a blessed week. Always remember to love yourself, pray. Remember that the Lord loves you, God loves you, I love you, I care about you, I'm here for you. And anybody who watches this, I hope you are truly inspired and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. Thank you and have a wonderful day.